If you have not watched my striker tier list video, then do check it out first because I won't be explaining how I rank this tier list. So just a few things I want to add. First thing is, this is the tag tier list, so you know, I'm not judging them based on like how much damage they do only. I'll be also judging them on like tech stuff, what tech stuff they do they debuff, set terrain or weather, paralysis, flinch, whatever, right? So I'll be judging on like different things as well. Not only that, this tier list is also a bit loose, meaning that my opinions on this will be a bit loose. Like tag sync pairs, right? They have a lot of different builds. For example, we have Champion Iris. We can choose not to nuke with her. We can just go for like pure DPS and debuff. You can also play nuke with her as well. So it's like, you know, tag is a bit confusing. There's a lot of different things to do with like each sync pairs. So yeah, it will be a bit difficult to rank this honestly. So I'll try my best to explain as best as I could on what I think on the ones I have. Again, 3 out of 5. And while putting this tier list, I just realized that I only have 5 tags that are 6-star EX, which is kind of sad, which is only like 10% of my entire 6-star EX list. Pretty sad honestly, but yeah. Also, one last thing, I have split A tier into A and A+, no A-, because in Asia A- stands for the failure, so we don't do A-, only A and A+. If you get A-, your parents will probably beat you up. So anyways, let's start. The first one, we have Brock. Honestly, C for me. If he didn't have potion, it would be F. So for Brock, it's... how do I say this? I don't like using him honestly. His nuke is good. Don't get me wrong, his nuke is good. Haymaker is good. And if you get into -6 speed, it's gonna be even big damage. But it's like... how do you say this? I just don't like using him. Potion is obviously good, but like... yeah, and then the only tech thing he does is, I guess, speed debuff, and that's all. DPS sucks, obviously. Nuke is really good if you set it up, which is not that bad. You can use Rock Tomb, debuff defense, debuff speed. You can use Trainer Move to buff your own attack. Make crit support, of course. Damage wise, Nuke is good. I just don't like using him. Honestly, it's very difficult to explain, but yeah, I just don't like using him. Then we have Ghetsis. For Ghetsis, he is A+ for me. He's good. Very, very good. There's just a few problems, I guess. First one is Trainer Move. Trainer Move sucks. You only +1 crit and +1 special attack. If your HP is full, you can get it up to +3 if your HP is low. Let's be real, just bring crit special attack support for him. You can, I guess, buff yourself, take some damage, but no. And his damage is good. Glacier is strong. Nuke is strong as well, very, very strong if you get it to -6 attack and then -6 speed. Takes a while, but you get it, it's strong. Now, one other thing is that it's a bit confusing to use, I guess. Is it confusing? I wouldn't say confusing, but like difficult to use because you can choose either go for like nuke, right? Or you can go for normal roll, double draw, or both, right? With both, you can also go with DPS as well. So like, it's difficult to use as in like you have to set it up yourself. Unless you bring attack, special attack debuffer. Let's say you don't, you have to double roll by yourself, right? Double roll by yourself and then glaciate to debuff speed. I mean, like if you use Noble Roll to debuff, you won't really have much time to use Glaciate, I guess. So you know, it's like kind of contradicting itself, DPS and debuff. You know, it's like you kind of switch between. Unless you, of course, if you bring attack debuff, that will solve everything. But you get the point, right? You have to bring attack debuff to solve this thing. If that makes sense. But overall, he's strong. I don't exactly like using him, but no doubt he's very strong. Yeah, Wikstrom next. Wikstrom is B for me. So Wikstrom is honestly not bad. He's not bad. His DPS is pretty solid. Nuke is also pretty solid. The problem is that you cannot max crit. I mean, you can max attack, you can max crit though. You can +3 in the blade form, and then you have to use like King Shield to like switch between, which is pretty fun to use honestly. Like switch between the defense, the sword and shield form. If you time it well, it's very fun to use. King Shield, also quite a fun move to use, right? If you time it well, you can block a big attack. But the small problem is that it's kind of difficult to set up the -6 attack, debuffing attack, because the only way you can do that is by using King Shield, which means that you need to tank, I guess, but typically you don't really want to tank. Of course, King Shield is very useful if it's like 1v1, right? If your tank is dead, that would be very useful, but yeah. And not only that, he does have aggravation, right? As aggravation 1 for Iron Head, so he can flinch, 60% chance, pretty good. Yeah, overall he's not bad. He's not bad. Now is Viola. Viola is also B for me. So for Viola, Viola is pretty, it's not bad. Viola is not bad. Can trap. Trap is cool. Can AoE debuff special attack, that is good. That is very, very good, right? She can also tank, right? She can buff her own special defense. She can tank like special defense moves. Pretty good. Nuke is on the weaker side. DPS is trash. So defense, like damage wise, she's not the greatest. But for tech, being able to trap and debuff special attack is pretty good. We have Kukui. Kukui is also he's A+ for me. He's really good. Kukui is good. Right, he can do quite a number of tech stuff. Damage wise is he's kinda bad. SSR can do some okay damage. Nuke is kind of, I mean, Nuke is good. You can set it up, but like with like Cakewalk and Sandblaster, but I don't really use that because he's better for like tech stuff. He can debuff speed. He can flinch with SSR. This staggering 60% chance, good stuff. He can AoE debuff defense. This is the most important thing. This is really good, especially if you run him like with like Olivia, right? Like the most common teammate, Olivia and Lycanroc. And yeah, he can debuff very good like tech stuff. Damage, he can do some damage I guess, but I don't really use that. So next up we have Kukui's best friend, Master Royal. S tier for me. He is really good. He is honestly insane. Being able to debuff with Dishearten 9, right? Attack, defense or both. And then you can AoE that with Brutal Swing. He is strong. He is really good. He can debuff stuff. On top of that, he can also DPS with Darkest Lariat. He can also nuke incredibly hard. And then the innate multiplier thing, speed, just use training move twice, easy. You don't need crit and attack support. But yeah, if you get it right, he's strong, man. He's very strong. You can nuke like insane with picking order as well. Crazy. He's really strong tech, right? He can debuff, DPS, nuke. Next up we have Signature Leaf, also S tier. She's really great, really strong, really good. So Signature Leaf is really solid. She can tank, she can AoE poison, AoE debuff defense, special defense or both. She can Sing Move Accelerate, she can gradual heal, she can heal with potion. Like, come on. She's so strong, man. She is so strong. She can also nuke, but let's be real, not much people use nuke. Most people just use him for like poison store, AoE poison debuff. She's just strong. I don't know what to say. There's just one small thing I dislike about her. 95 accuracy for Razor Leaf sucks. So yeah, you know, sometimes you miss like one of the opponent. It's kind of, you know, it kind of sucks. But yeah, she is very good. Next up we have May. May A+. She is great as well. So for May, my small problem with her is trainer move. Again, a lot of these are because trainer move. Plus 1 special attack, a crit kinda sucks. You do need special attack and crit support. But her DPS is strong. She can set up rain, don't forget about that. She can AoE debuff accuracy as well. With like on a roll, and then she can nuke really hard as well. She can also do some ground DPS I guess. So overall she's very strong. It does take a bit of time to like set up with hide and sync because 60% chance is not 100%, so you need a bit of time to set up. But yeah, being able to summon rain is amazing, right? Very strong. Next up we have Bianca. Bianca is A+ for me as well. Bianca is good. Stock Power is a really strong move. It's only 2 gauge, right? She's very strong. Psychic Terrain also really good. You know, she can buff herself, can buff other psychic type strikers or whatever. Trainer move is also pretty good. You can plus 2 stats, plus 2 defense, special attack and special defense, which is good for Stock Power, right? You do need crit support of course. Psychic don't really use much of this. Stock Power is just better. And then for Nuke is pretty difficult to set up because it's special defense, and the only way you can debuff special defense is using Psychic. Then for Psychic we do have 50% chance with on roll 4, so that's okay I guess, but most people just use Stock Power. So power is just so good. Then not only that, in her grid, right, she also can like heal, buff, speed. She's just really strong, really solid Sing pair. And so we have Erika and Tangela. So she is A for me. She's pretty good. Like she is like a tech, right? She cannot really do much like DPS. Her nuke is also kind of bad. So yeah, you can poison, you can trap, which is great. You can, I guess, tank a bit if you want with special defense. But yeah, overall she's like the queen, I guess the queen of poison stall. If you want a poison stall, she is really good for that. And also having like propelling move 5 is great, 60% chance to plus gauge, so you can run like some gauge eating Sing pair with her. And yeah, she's pretty good. Now Professor Oak. Professor Oak, I can put him to A. So Oak and Mew, he's pretty good. Right, he has the most unique grid. He's the only one in the game with this grid shape. So he can tank. Right, he can AoE debuff with Swift and Unfortuitous 9. Which is pretty useful sometimes, right? He can tank, and then he has first aid 4 as well. He can buff speed. He can like increase plus 2 special attack and then increase random stat. He's pretty good, though not much people use him anymore, unfortunately. But I still think he's pretty good, right? I use him a lot in the past, not a lot these days though. Then for his nuke, he can do pretty good damage with like Inner Shell and Blind Spot, but it is a bit difficult to set up because, you know, Blind Spot, you have to rely on like the trainer move, right? Speed, I guess you can, and then you need special attack crit support. But he can work pretty good as a tank and a debuff, AoE debuff, especially against like the, who was it, Latias? Can be useful. Next up is Clemont. Clemont is A+ for me. He is really good. For Clemont, he is overall a really good tech. DPS a bit weak, but nuke is pretty good if you plan to like use Cakewalk, right? Quite easy to set up as well, -6 speed with the throw web, and then can AoE debuff as well. Mask Trap is also quite useful to debuff accuracy. Parabolic Charge is pretty good as well. You can use him as a tank, right? And then you just keep hitting yourself, which is strong. And then he also has like Satisfied Snarl 2 for the throw web, so you can also have 30% chance to AoE debuff special attack, which is great. Overall, pretty good Sing pair with very high speed as well. You can just keep spamming Electro Web. Pretty easy to use as a tech. As a nuker, a bit troublesome to debuff speed, I guess, but still pretty good. Next we have SC Ingo. SC Ingo, I would put A+, somewhere high A+. So for Ingo is pretty good. It's good. You can debuff defense, right, with Defense Crush 9. You also have Team Fire Haste 9 to +1 speed when you use the status move. His nuke, you can use him as a nuker, which is strong with Relentless and Blind Spot. It's crazy high. Very good nuke. DPS is a bit weak. Quick attack is okay, but only 3 users. Infestation can trap, which is good to activate this thing, right? And then Bug Zone, most importantly, Bug Zone is great. Can AoE buff accuracy evasion as well. Pretty good. Overall, really good Sing pair. It's a bit difficult to use. I'm not the biggest fan of like using him, but I'll give props to his like utility and nuke, right? Next up we have Koga. Koga, we can put him to A. Koga is pretty good. 50% chance to poison, it's not bad, right? But the big thing for him is that he can debuff special defense, Mind Games 9 with Venusaur, which is great. You can also nick pretty hard with Blind Spot, right? You do need to like, you can only +2 evasion without NPR, which kinda sucks. You also need special attack and crit support, which also kinda sucks, but if you get him to work, he's very good. Or you can just use him as a poison and then special defense debuff. You can even run like X-Speed Slippery Psychics 1 to buff your team's evasion, which is pretty fun sometimes. You can like lock it out or something. Overall pretty good. Next up we have Annie Skylar on the fence between S and A+. Okay, fine. I'll give her S. She is very solid. Like she's very strong. Okay, you know, yeah, S tier. Yeah, okay, fine. S tier makes sense. She's very good. She's very solid. Even though she only has one move, DPS bad, but Egg Cutter with her like passive Godsmack and staggering, she has like I think 44% chance to flinch and then like 51% chance to confuse if you take like staggering 1 and Godsmack 2 as well. She is very good. AoE flinch, AoE confusion down is very strong. She can even tank with barrel roll 2 as well with under flying zone. Flying zone obviously good thing to have. She also has Disarm 9, which is, you know, you can debuff AoE debuff attack and special attack when your opponent is confused, flinch, whatever. Yeah, she's good, right? She also has mini potion to buff, increase a bit, heal a bit of health. And then she can also AoE buff your team speed, which is quite useful if you don't plan to nuke. Speaking of nuke, her nuke is insane. Inertia, Interference, Sync 5, and then Flying Zone, insane. And these are very easy to set up as well, right? Okay, Inertia maybe not so much, you need like +2 more if you use this twice, but yeah, you get the point. Strong. She's also pretty fun to use. Only problem, small problem I guess, 95% accuracy again. I guess you can sacrifice something to take this or something, but yeah, she's pretty good. She's very good. Serena, I guess high B. So for Serena, the problem is that there's like very confusing to use, I guess. You need to use a trainer move twice to get the +2 accuracy, so you can like 100% chance to hypnosis. Or if you just want to use once, it's fine as well. I bet it's 90%. No, it's 87.5% if you have +1 accuracy, which is a bit of a problem, I guess. And not only that, hypnosis, AoE sleep is obviously very good, but she relies a bit too much on hypnosis to do damage. Over here can do damage, but you need to like trap it, and then need to sleep with, you know, activate Good Nightmare 5. She does have Stat Leech 4, which is pretty good, 50% chance to like debuff 1 stat and then increase your own 1 stat. Nuke is also pretty good, but again you need to sleep, which is not a good like thing, because sleep doesn't last forever. If you don't time it well, your opponent's gonna wake up and then you're not gonna do a lot of damage. I guess that's just why it's B tier. I'm sure most of you guys will put it higher up, but for me, she's I guess hard to use for me. Oh, we have SC Diantha next. S tier, easy S tier. Probably highest so far. Do I really need to talk much about this? She's strong, right? Very strong. Very high DPS. Very high, crazy new. Right, she has 2 multipliers here and then 1 from the sync. It's insane. DPS is insane as well. 4 gauge. This thing is insane. Not only that, she has these 3 passive, right? -1 defense, special defense, and speed every time you attack, and then you increase your own by that same amount. It's insane. And even if you don't have enough gauges, you can just use move gauge boost, right? Or just use Aura Sphere, because Aura Sphere can still debuff the stats. Yeah, she's just strong. Strong nuke, strong DPS, can debuff. Very good. And then train move as well, can max crit. Very good. And then Secret Sword animation is also pretty satisfying, right? So pretty fun to use. Pretty nice to see, I guess. Then we have Champion Iris. Champion Iris also pretty easy S tier. She does have a small problem with, I guess, trainer move, because you don't really max attack or crit, which is a bit of a problem, I guess. You need like another support. But being able to debuff attack and special attack -2 with double drop, right? It's insane. It's crazy. And then her nuke. Don't let me get started with the nuke. The nuke is insane, one of the highest in the game. It's insane, really insane. With Devastation, Pecking Order, and then the innate multiplier, right? Crazy. DPS, you can also do DPS, but usually you won't do that because you will be spending time like debuffing attack and special attack. There's also Dragon Rush Trip Up 6 if you don't plan to nuke with her, you just want to do DPS or something. Sure. So overall she is very good. And then the nuke damage, ooh. Very big damage, very strong. Next up is Grant. Grant is, I guess, high B as well. So Grant, sadly his attack sucks. This is terrible attack. So his DPS and nuke is a bit weak. You can do decent nuke, but you do need to set up Cakewalk. I guess you can do his Rock Tomb, right? But the good thing about him is that he can AoE flinch with Rock Slide. 60% chance with Aggravation 1, which is pretty good. Right, sadly Rock Slide DPS is a bit weak, on the weaker side, but he can work. He's not too bad. Next time we have Absol, Sidney and Absol. He is high A+. Sidney is strong, right? DPS a bit weak, but nuke is insane. He can also max his own crit as well, which is great, and apply Endure, which is pretty useful. He can AoE confuse, right? With crit confuse 9, so when you crit, you confuse, right? You can easily max crit and then just use Dual Swing. Then it's also very easy to set up with him, right? You just have to confuse them. Fuzzy Strike 2 and then Innate Multiplier, and then Catastrophe, easy to set up as well. Oh, also Potion. Potion is always useful to have. So overall, she's really good. Really good. And don't forget about Mega. He also has like Brutal Swing, Quick Strike 5 I guess, if you wanna take it, but it doesn't really increase damage by that much since you're gonna nuke, usually. The nuke is good though, very very good. Next up we have Darach. Darach is also A+, he is also pretty good. He can use Feather Dance, you can AoE -2 attack, which is very useful, right? Ripple Effect 9. He does have Brave Bird, but Recoil Moves is just not that good in this game. So I usually just spam Feather Dance. He also have Default, which is great. You can remove Reflect. You can also remove Critical Shield thing, Light Screen, right? If you use him, 33 points for Champion Stadium. He can also AoE buff Speed +3. Gradual Heal, which is great. You can also do a lot of nuke damage, like really good nuke damage if you plan to nuke with him. Overall, he's really useful and really strong as well. You also have this way down 4 as well, so you can slowly debuff Evasion every time you use Feather Dance, which is pretty good, right? To activate easy target to do like to set up and do big damage. Next up we have Flannery and Torkoal. This one is C. So the only tech thing she does is I guess Willow Wisps to burn. And that's about it. She can actually do decent damage with Ember with 2 burn synergy or 1 gauge move, which is okay. And then her nuke is also not bad, but that's about it. She's just not that interesting to use, I guess. Burn is useful sometimes, and it's not 100% accurate unless you take the accuracy +10, which is 7 energy. So yeah, next up we have Grimsley, and he is F tier for me, unfortunately. So Grimsley, he has Snatch, and that's all. He can't really do DPS, he can't really nuke. And yeah, he does have this, he is I guess kind of fun to use with the evasion thing and -3 defense, but I do have unbending on him, so we don't minus defense. But yeah, Snatch is very niche, useful for Legendary Gauntlet I guess, like some Legendary Arena stages. And you do have Catalytic here, I guess you can like heal some stuff. And yeah, that's really all he is, nothing much. Kinda sad because Grimsley is great, I like his character, but everything else, his moves, everything kinda sucks. Next up we have Erika and Vileplume, so I guess C. So for Erika, right, I guess he has on roll 2, so you have 2 of them. So you have like I think 40%, 50% chance to debuff special defense, which is fine. She also has Stun Spore, which is also fine. And that's about it, I guess. He can nuke decent with Paralyze and Stall of Death 5. And yeah, I guess that's all. Nothing much. I guess kinda useful for Paralysis, I guess. And that's really it. Next we have Zinnia and Salamence. She is low C tier, almost F tier in my opinion. She's kinda bad. She can do pretty good DPS, not bad DPS. You do have Aggravation 1, but it's only 40%, right? Which is low compared to like the standard 60%. Her nuke is good, but you have to flinch, which sucks, right? It sucks quite a lot, and you cannot max crit as well, which is also a problem. And yeah, she's just not really fun to use as well. I guess you do have the max strength 9 to slowly buff your attack, but you still need crit support. DPS is not bad, nuke is also not bad, but her nuke you need to flinch, which sucks a lot. Now Volkner and Luxray, this one is S tier, somewhere in middle I guess. Totally not biased against Luxray. Okay, real talk. Luxray, Volkner is pretty much a must-have in every single electric team, right? Electric terrain is just so good, right? And every terrain weather is always good. And on top of that, he has the thing, Aggravation 4, Hostile Environment 4, 50% chance to flinch, 50% chance to paralyze. And yeah, he's good. You can also tank with like this thing, right? Electro Repulsion 3. You can also heal some with this passive in electric terrain. You can also AoE buff your accuracy if you need to. And yeah, Mock Charge is bad, unfortunately. Recoil move again. His nuke is on the weaker side because you don't have any multiplier in the grid other than the innate one. So yeah, nuke DPS bad, but electric terrain, flinch, paralysis, really good. And then pretty much a must-have for an electric team. Unless we get a new electric terrain and maybe Luxray will be dethroned, but yeah, that's gonna be a while, probably. You know, Lisia, Altaria, she is high C for me. So in terms of like tech thing, she really only like flinch I guess, and then default, which is cool. Default is cool. flinch, you can 40% on aggravation 1. Yeah, twister aggravation 1. And her nuke is okay. Not too bad. She can also do some DPS with Dragon Pulse if you Mega and Moonblast, but overall she's kinda like you can also play with like Durable 9 for Endure to redirect damage, right? That works, but I just don't like using her. I don't know why. I just don't. That's why we have Sophocles and Togedemaru. I would say B tier. So he is okay. He's not too bad. His nuke is good, but flinching again sucks. He does have Cakewalk and Static Shock, so that's okay. Kinda, yeah, okay. Random move pretty bad though, with -2 defense, right? Then we have Zing Zap. You have aggravation 1 as well. You can also take Trip Up to debuff speed for Cakewalk. So yeah, Cakewalk is a bit of a problem because the only thing you can debuff speed is with Trip Up, which is kinda bad. It's not 100%, so you need another like support to debuff speed. You can also paralyze. It's a bit costly, but usually you just use this once to paralyze, right? You can also activate Static Shock. It's definitely useful in Gauntlet. 60% chance to flinch is always pretty good. Nuke is also good, but flinching is a problem. So we have Giratina. She is S, definitely S tier. The first ever zone user, Gold Zone. She is very good. She has Smarty Pants, right? Brain Sync 5, Gold Zone multiplier. Oh, her nuke is insane. And then Shadow Force is pretty satisfying to use because the damage is so insane. You can just OHKO, right? Insane, and then you get super effective up next when you go into the Shadow Force thing. She is also a Master Fair as well. And then Trainer Move easy. You can max crit and then +4 special attack. Lower defense, which kinda sucks, but it's still fine. Only one. And then you can debuff as well, right? Sundering 9. It's only one debuff, which is a bit sad, but still, this debuff can activate Smarty Pants. Big damage, good DPS. Shadow Ball, pretty good DPS. Shadow Force, insane damage, right? If you use it well. Gold Zone, great. Trainer Move, great. Nuke, insane. Well, second to last, Candice, I would say maybe low A. So for Candice, DPS sucks, but she can set up Hell, which can activate the innate multiplier in the Sing move, and her nuke is pretty good with inertia, and you can easily max out speed with the X speed and then the Fleet Feet, right? Just use it twice. So you don't need like crit and attack support. You also have Super Preparation 4, which is pretty good, right? You can use it before sync, and you know, if you get lucky, a 50% increase in damage would be crazy damage. I also have a 6-side EX, so yeah. And Hell, always useful to have, I guess, for like the Hell, for like some ice teams, right? She also has 429 crit hit next, so if you time it well, I guess you can choose not to have crit, but unfortunately the sync is not AoE, so not really that useful unless it's Gauntlet or like Gauntlet Ice Weak. So I say the best for last. We have Lucas and Dialga. He is my favorite tech to use. He's not even 6-star EX as well, so yeah. So Lucas is strong. He is very strong. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like a lot of tech stuff. I guess Dragon Zone is tech, and then you have Mind Games 4. That's all. But his DPS is insane. Nuke is insane as well. So yeah. And then he gets like Grand Entry 4 plus 4 special attack when you enter, which is pretty crazy. And then this one, Commanded Freebie 9. Every time you use a trainer move, you get free move next effect, which is insanely useful, right? Because Raw 10 4 gauge is pretty expensive. His speed is not, it's also just okay. So if you use this once, you can just use Raw of Time. Big damage. You also have this Super Commander 4 for super effective next effect. For even more damage. If you time it well, you can use it with Sync as well. And yeah, with Inertia, don't forget Inertia, you have X speed plus, use it twice, you max speed as well. And yeah, also the Dragon Lake Sync, big damage with Snuke. And then one last reason why he's on top of the list, also my favorite tech to use, is because of this.
Get him, buddy! Get him, buddy! Get him, buddy!
I don't know, I just see this is literally my favorite line in the entire game. I just don't know why. It's just imagine calling your legendary time god your buddy. You know, it's just something about it, you know, it's just so wholesome to call your big friend your buddy. I just really like that line. So yeah, and that is all for my tech tier list. I said I want to split the A to two different ones, and then yeah, anyways, yeah, this is my list. I still have one last one which is a support one, so make sure to subscribe for that I guess.